welcome back to our channel. Small in size, big in value, discover the legacy behind the mighty one-dime coin. In 1984, the United States was a nation moving forward with a confident stride. The economy was rebounding, technology was accelerating, and American culture was undergoing yet another vibrant transformation. Amidst the changes and developments of this era, the United States Mint continued its age-old responsibility of producing coins that reflected both the nation's present and its enduring values. The Roosevelt dime, a quiet yet iconic piece of everyday American life, stood at the heart of this process. Small in size, yet rich in meaning and history, the Roosevelt dime has always carried with it a powerful legacy. Since its introduction in 1946, the dime served not only as a denomination of currency but also as a tribute to President Franklin D. Roosevelt, a man whose leadership during the Great Depression and World War II left an indelible mark on the country. His efforts in founding the March of Dimes to combat polio gave the coin added emotional resonance. To this day, Roosevelt's portrait remains a symbol of resilience and humanitarian commitment, etched into a piece of metal that touches the lives of millions daily. By 1984, the Roosevelt dime had already been in circulation for nearly 4 decades. Its design, crafted by John R. Sinek, remained consistent through the years, a testament to its timelessness. The obverse featured Roosevelt's determined profile facing left, with the inscriptions, "Liberty, in God We Trust," the date, and the designer's initials. The reverse depicted the torch of liberty flanked by an olive branch for peace and an oak branch for strength. These symbols quietly underscored the values upon which the nation stood. The 1984 Roosevelt dimes were minted in 3 key locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia and Denver Mint struck coins intended for general circulation, while the San Francisco Mint produced proof coins for collectors. As with most years, hundreds of millions of dimes were produced, blending seamlessly into everyday commerce. These coins passed from hand to hand in grocery stores, gas stations, vending machines, and countless other places, performing their duty without fanfare. However, among the millions of dimes produced, a few extraordinary examples emerged. These were coins that somehow avoided the scuffs and wear of circulation. Through luck or intention, they were preserved, stored carefully, or included in pristine mint sets. And among these select few, one particular 1984 dime stood out, a coin that captured the attention of collectors not just for its survival, but for its sheer perfection. This dime was struck with precision so exact that every detail of Roosevelt's profile appeared crisp and lifelike. The strands of his hair, the subtle contours of his cheek and jawline, even the fine textures in the field surrounding his portrait, all were preserved in remarkable clarity. But what truly set this coin apart was the reverse side. The torch and branches, so often the victim of wear or incomplete striking, appeared with textbook sharpness. The torch's horizontal bands, 2 sets of lines running across the top and bottom, were fully visible and distinctly separated. This earned the coin the coveted full bands designation, a mark of striking excellence that greatly enhances both appeal and value. The full bands designation is more than a grading note, it is a sign of exceptional craftsmanship and minting precision. Many coins, even those in mint state, fail to achieve this due to slight imperfections during the striking process. But when a coin earns this distinction, it becomes a standout piece, a prize among collectors who seek out the best of the best. Numismatists, the passionate individuals who study and collect coins, regard such finds as treasures. Not only do they seek rarity, but also quality, condition, and the story behind each coin. The 1984 Roosevelt dime, with its gleaming surface, flawless strike, and historical backdrop, became a sought-after piece in elite collections. As more collectors began to understand the significance of modern mint state coins, interest in high-grade dimes from the 1980s began to rise. It is often said that coin collecting is part art, part history, and part detective work. The thrill lies not only in the possession of a rare piece but in the journey to understand its context. Why did this dime survive so perfectly? Where was it stored for so many years? Was it part of a special collection, or perhaps overlooked in a government-issued mint set? The mystery surrounding such coins adds to their mystique. The 1984 Roosevelt dime story becomes even more compelling when you consider how such coins are graded. Professional coin grading services like PCGS or NGC assign grades based on a coin's condition, with mint state, MS, designations ranging from 60 to 70. An MS-70 coin is virtually perfect, with no post-production flaws visible under 5x magnification. Very few coins reach this level, especially those struck for circulation. That's what makes an MS-68 or MS-69 Roosevelt dime with full band such a remarkable and rare find. It represents the peak of precision and preservation in coinage. Collectors often go to great lengths to acquire coins like this. Some spend years building full sets of Roosevelt dimes, trying to get each year and mint mark in the highest possible grade. Others focus exclusively on full bands examples, seeking out those few dimes that showcase the very best the mint has to offer. These high-grade collections become sources of pride and passion, passed down through generations or displayed in curated exhibits. Beyond the collecting community, even casual observers can appreciate the beauty and significance of a coin like this. There's something inherently fascinating about holding history in your hand, about the idea that a small piece of metal could survive for decades in such extraordinary condition. It connects the past to the present, reminding us of the artistry and intention behind every coin we spend or save. In time, this 1984 Roosevelt dime found its way into the spotlight, authenticated and graded by professionals, and finally recognized for what it was, a modern masterpiece. Its combination of flawless preservation and full bands designation made it one of the most desirable Roosevelt dimes of its era. And as interest in high-grade modern coins continues to grow, its significance only increases. This single 1984 Roosevelt dime, though minted like millions of others, became a numismatic marvel. Through a perfect storm of craftsmanship, condition, and timing, it was valued far beyond its 10-cent face. Today, this remarkable coin is worth $122,000, a shining example of how even the smallest and most ordinary objects can achieve greatness through care, preservation, and a touch of luck. In the quiet hum of everyday commerce, coins often go unnoticed. They're passed from hand to hand, tucked into wallets and pockets, and dropped into jars without a second thought. Yet, among the millions of coins minted each year, a few rise above the rest, not because they were designed to be special, but because fate, circumstance, and a bit of luck made them so. One such coin is the 1994 Roosevelt dime, a piece that, while born into the routine process of American minting, emerged decades later as a treasure of immense value, a marvel that transcended the ordinary. The story of the 1994 dime begins in a period of relative calm and transition in the United States. The Cold War was over, the economy was steadily growing, and the digital age was beginning to reshape communication and industry. Amid these transformations, the U.S. Mint continued its unwavering mission to produce coinage for the nation. The Roosevelt dime, by this time a fixture in American life for nearly half a century, remained a steadfast representation of durability, national pride, and continuity. Designed by John R. Sinek, the Roosevelt dime had retained its original look since its 1946 debut. The obverse carried the noble profile of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, an homage to the man who guided the nation through its darkest economic and wartime trials, and who championed the March of Dimes initiative to combat polio. Around Roosevelt's profile, inscriptions of "Liberty, in God We Trust," and the year of minting formed a consistent, familiar visual. On the reverse side, the torch of liberty stood flanked by olive and oak branches, symbols of peace and strength, respectively. This design, simple and elegant, had proven its staying power across generations. In 1994, Roosevelt dimes were minted in large quantities at the Philadelphia and Denver facilities, with proof versions struck in San Francisco. Tens of millions of these dimes entered circulation, becoming part of the invisible background of economic life. They jingled in change drawers, clinked in toll booths, and nestled at the bottom of purses. Most wore down with use, their details softening under the stress of everyday handling. But a few were spared this fate, held aside unknowingly or preserved intentionally, left untouched in original government-issued sets or high-quality rolls. Among the coins minted in 1994, there existed one extraordinary specimen, an example preserved with such pristine precision that it caught the attention of collectors and numismatists years later. This particular dime stood out for its flawless strike, immaculate surface, and remarkable condition. Under magnification, the coin revealed an uncommon clarity. Every line on Roosevelt's face, every letter of the inscriptions, every ridge of the torch and its accompanying branches were visible in full definition. It wasn't just preserved, it was perfect. The coin was not just in excellent condition, it displayed the full bands designation, one of the most coveted features in the Roosevelt dime series. The full bands refer specifically to the horizontal lines on the torch on the reverse side of the coin. A dime qualifies for this designation only if the bands are sharply struck and fully separated, indicating an exceptional strike. Many coins fail to meet this standard, even if they otherwise appear flawless. It's this level of detail, this microscopic perfection, that separates the extraordinary from the merely excellent. To collectors, a full bands dime from 1994 is more than just a well-preserved coin. It is a symbol of numismatic excellence, an artifact that transcends its 10-cent face value through rarity and perfection. The full bands detail, combined with a mint state grade, typically MS68 or higher, elevates a common coin to the status of a showpiece. Such coins are often submitted to professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, where they are certified, encapsulated, and added to elite collections. But what makes the journey of this particular 1994 dime so compelling is the idea that it could have been lost. It might have circulated like its peers, been dropped on a sidewalk, scratched by keys, or forgotten in a drawer. That it survived in such extraordinary condition is a marvel, a silent testimony to the unpredictability and magic of coin collecting. Think about how many times you've glanced over a dime, how many have passed through your hands, unnoticed. Among those, one might have held a secret value, waiting quietly to be discovered. As interest in modern coinage continues to grow, collectors increasingly look for hidden gems among the dimes, nickels, quarters, and cents of recent decades. They search for signs of minting anomalies, high-grade survivors, and unique variations. And while older coins from the 19th or early 20th century may command attention due to age, modern rarities like the 1994 Roosevelt dime prove that the world of numismatics is just as vibrant in the contemporary era. Every scratch-free surface and sharply defined edge tells a story of survival, of preservation against odds. Perhaps it lay untouched in a safe for decades. Maybe it was passed over by collectors again and again, its true quality hidden until it was placed under the right light, at the right time, seen by the right eyes. That moment of revelation, the realization that this dime was special, is what collectors live for. For the discerning collector, this dime is more than a piece of metal, it's a story, a piece of history, a stroke of chance preserved in silver-colored brilliance. Whether displayed in a case, used as the crown jewel of a complete Roosevelt dime collection, or admired for its sheer beauty, the 1994 dime is a numismatic marvel that inspires awe and appreciation. It represents not only the power of preservation but also the idea that greatness can be found in the most unexpected places. Collectors spend years, sometimes decades, chasing such coins. They hunt through boxes of change, visit countless dealers, and attend shows across the country, all in search of that one perfect specimen. The 1994 dime, when found in such an extraordinary state, becomes a beacon, proof that the search is worth it, that treasure still exists in the folds of the everyday, and for those who once pocketed a dime without thought, perhaps it's a reminder to look again. Because even in the most ordinary corners of life, there lies the extraordinary. You never know what piece of change might carry with it a legacy, a story, and a value beyond imagination. That extraordinary 1994 Roosevelt dime, preserved in mint condition with the highly prized full bands designation, now carries a value that far exceeds its humble origins. Today, that very coin is worth $112,000. In the world of coins, sometimes it's not the oldest or the most exotic that captures our attention, but the most unexpected. And so begins the remarkable story of a seemingly ordinary coin minted in the early 21st century, the 2004 USA 1 dime. It is, at first glance, just another Roosevelt dime, a coin passed from hand to hand without much thought. But for those who look closer, for those who understand the quiet language of numismatics, this coin is anything but ordinary. To understand why this particular dime has achieved legendary status among collectors, we have to look back at its origin. The year 2004 was a time of great technological progress and cultural evolution. The United States was experiencing a post-9/11 world, with new values on security, innovation, and resilience. And while global events captured the headlines, the United States Mint continued its everyday task of producing the coins that keep the economy flowing. Among them was the Roosevelt dime, bearing the same iconic design that had graced the denomination since 1946. The obverse side of the coin features a dignified portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, whose leadership during the Great Depression and World War II had left an enduring legacy. His profile is surrounded by inscriptions: Liberty, to the left, In God We Trust, just below the chin, and the date, 2004, proudly etched on the lower right. The design is crisp, deliberate, and timeless, maintaining the vision of John R. Sinnock, the coin's original engraver. Even decades later, his work continues to be admired not only for its artistry but for its historical significance. On the reverse side, the symbolism continues with a torch at the center, flanked by olive and oak branches representing peace and strength. These emblems were carefully chosen to reflect the ideals that Roosevelt stood for, and the continuation of his legacy through American coinage. The reverse design serves as a reminder of the nation's values and the importance of leadership, unity, and resilience. This side of the coin, too, seems ordinary at first, but it holds secrets. For in 2004, while millions of dimes were struck and released into circulation, a precious few emerged under circumstances that set them apart. These were dimes that bore no mint errors yet appeared in such flawless condition that they would eventually be recognized as true rarities. It's not always errors that make coins valuable. Sometimes, it's perfection, minted primarily at the Philadelphia and Denver facilities, and with a proof run in San Francisco. The 2004 Roosevelt dimes were not made of silver but of a copper-nickel-clad composition. Still, their value would not come from their metal content, it would come from their rarity, condition, and the subtle details that only seasoned collectors know to seek. These are the attributes that transform everyday coinage into highly sought-after treasures. Among these dimes, one example rose to prominence due to its impeccable state. Preserved with extraordinary care, it was graded at a level that only a tiny fraction of coins ever achieve. Its fields were mirror-like, its devices sharply struck, and its overall eye appeal undeniable. This particular coin also exhibited the full bands designation on the reverse, meaning that the horizontal lines across the torch were fully visible and unbroken, a hallmark of a superior strike and a highly desirable trait among collectors. Achieving the full bands designation is no easy feat. It requires an exceptionally well-struck coin, free of even the slightest weakness in detail. Most coins from regular mint runs lack this precision. Yet this dime had it, showcasing what happens when the conditions of the minting process align perfectly. From the pressure of the dies to the alignment of the planchet, every aspect of the coin's creation must fall into place. To the casual observer, it may look like just another dime. But to the trained eye, it's a numismatic masterpiece. It's remarkable to think how close this coin came to obscurity. It could have ended up in a vending machine, been dropped on a sidewalk, or rattled around in someone's change jar for years. But somehow, it was preserved, maybe intentionally, maybe by chance, and eventually found its way into the hands of someone who recognized its true value. It's these little accidents of history that make collecting so exhilarating, and that is the heart of this story, that greatness can hide in plain sight. The 2004 Roosevelt dime, in its most pristine form, serves as a reminder to never overlook the seemingly mundane. Every coin has a story, but some tell a tale so compelling that it captures the imagination of collectors around the world. That's the magic of coin collecting, the mystery, the discovery, and the stories waiting to be unearthed. As more people take up coin collecting, hoping to find their own hidden treasures, coins like this inspire the hunt. They offer proof that treasures still circulate among us, waiting to be discovered. You never know what might be hiding in your pocket change, what extraordinary object might be lying forgotten in a drawer. Some coins carry a piece of history. Others carry secrets. But a coin like the 2004 dime? It carries a little bit of both. It reminds us that what we carry in our pockets might just be part of something much larger, a legacy of craftsmanship, of history, of national pride. And for the collectors who understand what they're looking at, it's a moment of connection between the past and the present. Every time you hear the clink of change, consider the possibilities. Maybe, just maybe, one of those coins could be special. Maybe it's a piece of art, a piece of history, a once-in-a-lifetime find. That's the magic that keeps the numismatic world spinning, and so, from an ordinary year and an ordinary minting process emerged a truly extraordinary coin. Today, this singular 2004 Roosevelt dime, preserved in mint state with full band detail and immaculate surfaces, is valued at an astonishing $104,000. Not because it's ancient. Not because of a minting error. But because it is perfect, perfectly preserved, perfectly struck, and perfectly appreciated by those who know what to look for. In a world where we often overlook the everyday items we carry in our pockets, sometimes it's the smallest things that tell the biggest stories. Take, for instance, the 2007 USA 1-dime coin. At a glance, it might seem unremarkable. It's lightweight, common in circulation, and easy to dismiss. But behind that unassuming face lies a journey of design, craftsmanship, and numismatic wonder that culminates in a coin worth much more than its face value, a dime that, under the right circumstances, has sold for a staggering $96,000. To appreciate the true significance of the 2007 dime, we first have to explore the background that led to its creation. By this time, the Roosevelt dime had already been in production for more than 6 decades. Introduced in 1946 in honor of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, the coin carried forward a legacy of leadership, hope, and resilience. Roosevelt, a key figure in American history, had guided the nation through the Great Depression and World War II, and his influence was immortalized on this smallest denomination of U.S. coinage. His face on the dime wasn't just a tribute, it was a reminder of the immense impact one individual can have on an entire nation. The obverse design, which remained unchanged in 2007, featured Roosevelt's strong, forward-facing profile, an image crafted by John R. Sinek, the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint. Around Roosevelt's profile were the familiar inscriptions, "Liberty," to the left, "In God We Trust," just below the chin, and the date, 2007, proudly presented to the lower right. These words weren't chosen at random. They echo the values that the United States holds close: freedom, faith, and a shared national identity. On the reverse, the coin retained its classical symbolism, a flaming torch at the center, flanked by olive and oak branches, representing peace and strength, foundations of a stable society. These elements weren't just artistic flourishes, they were symbols embedded with meaning, carefully chosen to express the values that defined a nation. Although millions of these coins were minted in both Philadelphia and Denver, and even as proof coins in San Francisco, not all dimes are created equal. Most of them entered circulation immediately, clinking into cash registers, being handed out as change, and thrown into coin jars. But a rare few emerged under extraordinary conditions. These dimes were struck with such precision, such care, and maintained in such pristine condition, that they stood apart from the rest. These few coins did not face the same fate as their mass-produced counterparts. They escaped the scuffs and scratches of daily life and instead found their way into hands that understood their value. It is among these few that we find the 2007 dime that would eventually command a breathtaking value. This coin, preserved flawlessly, showcased what collectors call the full bands designation, a rare and coveted trait where the horizontal lines on the torch's bands are fully visible and unbroken. Achieving this level of detail means the coin was struck with exceptional force and alignment, and survived without any post-mint blemishes. Coins like these are marvels of minting perfection. The full bands designation is particularly difficult to obtain on modern clad dimes, as the wear of dies and fast-paced production often leads to soft strikes in the torch area. So when a coin like the 2007 dime appears with such clean, defined lines, collectors take notice. These high-grade examples typically come from uncirculated rolls or special sets, perhaps forgotten in a safe or inherited by someone who never knew what they had. Some of these dimes are stored in airtight holders, placed in temperature-controlled environments to preserve every bit of their luster and fine detail. In the numismatic world, such attention to preservation is what can separate a 10-cent coin from a $96,000 masterpiece. Beyond its condition, what made this dime so desirable was the mystery and intrigue surrounding its survival. How does such a tiny piece of metal endure so long in near-flawless form? Perhaps it was plucked from a fresh mint roll and stored away immediately by a watchful eye. Perhaps it was a fortunate accident, forgotten in a drawer, sealed in a collection, untouched by time. Whatever the reason, its journey from an everyday object to a valuable artifact is a story of preservation and patience. It's also a story of timing, because had it not been discovered at the right moment, it might have gone unnoticed forever. Numismatics isn't just about metal. It's about the stories the coins tell. The Roosevelt dime from 2007 tells a story of continuity in design, of excellence in minting, and of the thrill of discovery. Every collector dreams of stumbling across such a coin, one that appears mundane but reveals itself to be extraordinary. And it's not just the seasoned collectors who dream, even newcomers to the hobby are lured in by tales of hidden treasures lying unnoticed in their very pockets. This single 2007 dime, when examined under magnification, revealed details so sharp and striking that even seasoned collectors were impressed. The brilliance of its luster, the symmetry of its strike, and the preservation of its surface all combined to create a specimen worthy of envy. It's the kind of coin that doesn't just belong in a collection, it becomes the crown jewel of that collection. It's not just admired, it's revered. It also serves as a reminder that not all treasure is buried. Sometimes, it's hiding in plain sight. A coin like this may still be out there, resting in a coin jar, slipping through fingers, waiting to be noticed. It's a lesson to look closely, to appreciate the details, and to remember that even in the ordinary, there can be something truly exceptional. That is the magic of coin collecting, that moment of discovery, that thrill of realization. The 2007 USA 1 dime coin is a testament to the artistry and precision of the U.S. Mint. It's a reflection of historical continuity and the enduring appreciation of quality and detail in coinage. And while most 2007 dimes are worth no more than 10 cents, this particular example, preserved in perfect condition and admired by collectors across the world, is now valued at an astonishing $96,000. Its story inspires not just admiration but curiosity. Could there be more like it out there? Could someone unknowingly carry such a treasure in their pocket or wallet? Every day offers the chance for rediscovery, for excitement, for realizing that the most valuable things can sometimes be the smallest and most overlooked. And that's the beauty of coin collecting, the adventure, the wonder, and the joy of uncovering something truly priceless in the most unexpected place. So the next time you receive change at the store, don't rush to spend it or toss it in a drawer. Take a closer look. Examine the shine, the date, the tiny details. Because who knows, maybe in your hand is not just 10 cents, but a dime with a story, a legacy, and a value that far exceeds anything you could imagine. Maybe it's a 2007 Roosevelt dime, preserved in near perfection, and maybe, just maybe, it's worth $96,000.